thank you for joining us again at Voice of Rohingya Radio, a registered nonprofit coming to you from the state of Oregon in the United States of America. I would like to thank all of our listeners who allow this program to continue to provide the latest news through our exclusive interviews, reports from inside the border, and reputable sources from around the world. If you would like to stay up to date with our program, you can view or download all of our broadcasts online at youtube.com/VORradio, or you can join our Facebook page to find more information on past and future programs. It is June 8th, 2014. For Voice of Rohingya Radio, I am your host, Zach Taylor. Human rights groups are warning that Rohingya are in more danger than ever as more than 140,000 sit in internally displaced persons camps, which have been likened to detention facilities. Some are saying the attacks in 2012 pale in comparison to the recent lack of medical aid in the camps, threatening the health and life of thousands of innocents daily. Phil Robertson, the deputy director of the Asian Division of Human Rights Watch, said during a recent interview with Asian Correspondent, the Rohingya are effectively locked down in their settlements and IDP camps without access to health care. He added that the severe restrictions that prevent Rohingya from getting to hospitals and other healthcare facilities are killing people. Human rights activists like Maung Kya Nu said that thousands of Rohingya refugees in Rakhine face a brutal dilemma: risk another Buddhist attack while venturing out to nearby hospitals, or huddle in the camps as resources dwindle, diarrhea becomes fatal for more children, and fewer pregnant mothers survive childbirth. Ko Ong of the Rohingya Association of Thailand says the expulsion of Doctors Without Borders made the government's intentions clear. The Rakhine state government and Buddhist extremists made plans to kick out NGOs including MSF, giving different unacceptable excuses. He says, adding that he disputes government claims that some of these aid organizations provided weapons to the Rohingya during the 2012 riots, or that their hiring policies are biased towards Muslims. He goes on to say, "These are their policies to repress the Rohingya, giving many poor excuses to the international community and keeping the Muslims in a difficult situation so that they will flee whenever they can. It's long-term ethnic cleansing." A Rakhine state spokesman claims that Rohingya have brought the health crisis upon themselves by touting they're sick to the media and refusing medical care. Though the spokesperson's statements have been called ludicrous and divorced from the truth on many occasions, there have been cases of Rohingya denying service. In these cases, though, Rohingya were referred to Sitwe Hospital in Rakhine State capital, where many Rohingya have heard of mistreatment and abuses to friends and family members. Robertson said, "I suspect many Rohingya would fear that they cannot receive any real guarantee of their protection if they were transferred to Sitwe General Hospital." The Director General of the Arakan Rohingya Union, Professor Dr. Waqar Uddin, was named the President of Muslim Aid America and the Chairman of the Board of Trustees. Muslim Aid America has been recently established in Washington, D.C. area. Founded in 1985, Muslim Aid is a UK-based global relief organization and is headquartered in London. Their primary mission is to tackle poverty and natural disaster by developing innovative and sustainable solutions that enable individuals and their communities to live with dignity by supporting initiatives that promote economic and social justice. Muslim Aid works with all in need regardless of their race, religion, gender, nationality, or political opinion. The project spans over 70 countries across the globe. This appointment comes just before Dr. Uddin's upcoming trip to Geneva, Switzerland on Sunday to attend the UN Human Rights Council session, where he will attend various sessions on the issue related to Rohingya in Myanmar and speak with representatives of the Humanitarian Dialogue Foundation, as well as with the Organization of Islamic Cooperation's Independent Human Rights Commission and Ambassador. In other news, the Burmese American Muslim Association is holding their second annual convention on Myanmar Muslim genocide awareness on June 21st at the Los Angeles Convention Center. I had a chance to speak with board member Mo Cha of Bama yesterday in an exclusive interview with Voice of Rohingya Radio. Could you tell me about how the title of the convention was chosen?
Yes, the issue has been ongoing since at the beginning. Thank you for mentioning about this convention. The name of this convention is derived by the genocidal act and the mass atrocity upon Rohingyas and the Myanmar Muslims. That brings the attention of the world community as well as the as well as our community, which is the Burmese American community. Therefore, the member of the Burmese Muslim community in America come up with the name to raise the awareness to prevent the further genocide in Burma or the genocidal act upon Muslims community and also any other minorities, and also to raise the awareness around the world that whatever happening in Burma, the mass atrocity and the genocidal acts are not acceptable. That kind of activism that we would like to bring into the world attention. That's why this convention has been. That's why the name of this convention has been raised. And also, this will be not only in 2013 and 2014. We will commemorate this atrocities and try to prevent the further genocide in Burma every year.
Could you tell me a little bit about the participants in the convention and any key speakers that you'd like to mention?
Yeah, there are panel speakers, and these panel speakers, number one is Dr. Gregory Stenson, which is the president of Genocide Watch, Mr. Honorable Tom Andrews, which is the president of the United to End Genocide, and Mr. Matthew Smith, which is the executive director of the 45 Right, and Dr. Wakauddin, which is the Director General of the All Rohingya Union. And these panelists are very spectacular that, for example, Dr. Gregory Stanton, and their organization is the world's first organization that raise awareness and fight genocide. And they have work in Africa, such as Rwanda, Sudan, and so on. And also he is also a law professor and a genocide expert, and he also has many diplomatic and academic experience that he went through to prevent genocide as well as bringing justice to those perpetrators. And another panelist is Mr. Tom Andrews, who is the president of the United to End Genocide organization, which is another genocide fighting organization groups. He is also a former congressman from Maine, and he works in a lot of world issues and human rights violations in Asia, Cambodia, Yemen, Algeria, Serbia, and Ukraine, and all other among others. And he is also a long advocate of the human rights issues in Burma. And Mr. Matthew Smith is also he worked with the Human Rights Watch in 2011 and 2013 and worked on Burma issue, which is the very important time for Burma that this mass atrocity is happening. And he works on the HRW report, and he was part of that report too. So whatever happening in Rakhine State on the Rohingyas, these atrocity happening on Rohingyas and right violations has been recorded and written by him. So he might have got a lot of information about what had happened on the ground. So we would like to bring him to our convention and discuss what he wrote on the reports and what the world needs to know. So that is one point that we would like to bring into our convention. And Dr. Wakauddin, he is Director General of All Arakan Rohingya Union. And Doctor is the professor of Pennsylvania State University Biology Department and also elected Director General of the Arakan Rohingya Union, which is the unions of all Rohingya organizations across the globe. So he is considered as the diplomat of Rohingya community, and also he is well known in the world diplomatic community as well. And he had testified in the United States Congress on suffering of Rohingya people at the hearing of the resolution HRES 114. Therefore, we are very proud and honored to have all these world-renowned experts and activists come together and convene at our convention. So we're very glad.
What message would you like the international community and perhaps the government of Myanmar to take from the convention?
Oh, yes. The message is very simple. Burma comes into the radar of genocide surveillance network, Burma had also signed on CPPCG Convention, which is the Convention on Prevention and Punishment on Crime of Genocide. Therefore, it is the Burmese government responsible to protect and prevent the further genocide based on R2P agreement. And R2P, which is responsibility to protect and bring justice to all perpetrators who committed such crime against humanity transparently before international community. Genocide or the genocidal act is an international crime, and it is no longer sovereignty or the internal issue of Burma. There are examples that international community brought justice to genocidal criminals when Mother State failed to do so, such as Charles Taylor and Milosevic. And therefore, I will say they should pay serious attention to this issue and work hard on the ground to prevent such not only denying, we have no genocide is not a solution to this. So there are still hate speeches going on. So I would like to say to the Burmese government that please stop hate speech and discrimination, which is a very basic fundamental spark, which is a little small fire. That spark of genocide it's very important that if they don't put out that spark, then it will explode out, and it can lead to a further genocide. So these kind of prevention methodology, they need to be discussed. And we also invited to the Burmese government through the embassy. I think our secretaries already sent out the invitation, and I hope they will come. It is an opportunity for the Burmese government to come and discuss with the world community and experts and the historians that, how they will be able to prevent such kind of atrocity. It's a shame. It's a shame on Burmese government, and also it's a shame on the Burmese people. It's a shame on us too. We are Burmese too. Shame on us too. Anytime we meet with the other community around the world, and they ask, there are atrocity happening in Burma. Yes, that's unfortunate. What can we do? And we are trying to help it resolve. And that's a shame. We don't want to hear that, and it's a shame on everybody. It's a shame on ASEAN also because it's in the region that kind of shameful things are happening. So I'd like to say to Burmese government that please stop hate speech, stop any violence, and they can do that if they like to. And they like to train their own law enforcement agency not to participate in controversial and violences that state officials are involved. So they have to stop it too if there is any. So there are a lot of things that Burmese government has to do to the citizenship issues and discrimination. The discrimination is the fundamental basic fact that will start or lead to the tremendous genocide and atrocities. So that's all I wanted to say, that Burmese government has to pay very serious attention, that once it happened, then we cannot say sorry because it's already been done. So the justice, if they fail to bring justice, the world community and the international community and The Hague has to come in. So that's all I want to say. Thank you.
Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me today.
Thank you, sir.
Once again, that was Mo Cha, board member of the Burmese American Muslim Association, who's organizing the Myanmar Muslim Genocide Awareness Convention at the Los Angeles Convention Center on June 21st. Please stay tuned over the next few weeks, as I'll be attending the convention and bringing you news from the floor and interviews with participants of the event. You are listening to Voice of Rohingya Radio. Thanks again for listening to Voice of Rohingya Radio, a registered nonprofit broadcasting every Sunday from the state of Oregon in the United States of America. I am your host, Zach Taylor. Myanmar seems to be making some headway in preventing sexual violence as the country has agreed to sign the Declaration of Commitment to End Sexual Violence and Conflict ahead of a major global summit next week, the British Embassy in Yangon has reported. The government came under fierce criticism in September when it was one of the 50 United Nations members that refused to sign the declaration, the introduction of which has been led by the United Kingdom. However, on June 6, the British Embassy said that Myanmar had become the 150th country to endorse the declaration. The decision comes ahead of the Global Summit to End Sexual Violence and Conflict, which will bring more than 230 government delegates from all over the world to London from June 10th to the 13th. A religious boycott is in the works in Myanmar as a Rangoon monastery is organizing an anti-Uradu event on Sunday in order to urge the public to spurn the Qatar-based company and its products in a bid, as it says, to protect the Buddhist religion. The monastery in Rangoon's North Dagon Township has spearheaded a campaign against Uradu since it was awarded one of the 2 telecommunication licenses in 2013 to operate in the mobile phone-starved country. With an investment of $15 billion, Uradu has promised to roll out a network that would reach 90% of Burma's population in 2 years. A Buddhist monk from the monastery says, "We are doing this because Uradu is owned by Muslims, and they are going to use their profits from their business in Burma to build mosques in this country and fund Muslims to marry our women. They are a company that will destroy our race, and it poses a threat to our religion." A group called the Burmese Nationalist Youth will distribute pamphlets and CDs in the former capital with information about the boycott. A well-known columnist who has criticized the anti-Uradu campaign said that the campaigners need, quote, "a valid reason for opposing Uradu instead of one based on bigotry." The Myanmar government has made UNICEF apologize for using the term Rohingya in a PowerPoint presentation, which the state-run media said should have used the term Bengali instead. On June 5th, the Emergency Coordination Center, a body that oversees aid in the state, summoned UNICEF to discuss the use of the word Rohingya during its presentation on its 2-year, $12 million plan, which will focus on improving the health and education of children. Than Thun, a member of the ECC, described the use of the word Rohingya as a violation of Myanmar's sovereignty. He even went on to say that the word Rohingya itself is responsible for sparking violence. This aversion to the term may not come as much surprise to regular listeners of the program, who will recall the intimidation tactics used against Rohingya during the UNFPA census, where people were only allowed to register as illegal Bengali immigrants as opposed to identifying their ancestral Rohingya heritage. The use of the word by UNICEF has placed the INGO under scrutiny by a monitoring group charged with observing the operations of the organization. A member of the monitoring group claims that UNICEF used the term Rohingya intentionally and needs to apologize. I'd like to thank you again for tuning in today to Voice of Rohingya Radio. As always, you can find our broadcasts at youtube.com/VOR radio, and you can join our page on Facebook for more information on past and future programs. I'd like to close with some words from the great American writer and human rights activist Maya Angelou, who said, "Perhaps travel cannot prevent bigotry, but by demonstrating that all peoples cry, laugh, eat, worry, and die, it can introduce the idea that if we try and understand each other, we may even become friends." Angelou saw the civil rights movement make great strides in curtailing racism, and she spoke as anyone could who had the courage to raise their voice. I want to call on the Muslims in Myanmar. I want to call on the Buddhists in Myanmar. I want to call on all the people of the world to find the courage to raise their voices over the white noise of propaganda, over the bigotry of hate speeches, over the clandestine motives of the Myanmar government. For though we might owe ourselves to different gods, we share the same soul, one that hungers and cries and laughs. Let us listen for the next Maya Angelou through the crowd, so they might be heard and bring that laughter between us all. For Voice of Rohingya Radio, this is Zach Taylor, signing out.